What's up, YouTube? This is Team DDN here. This past weekend we hit up the Primal Origin sneak peek, and I just so happened to get everything I needed for my Bujin deck, and this deck has become leaps and bounds better than it used to be. It used to just be control based the entire time. Now you can spam the board and do a ton of crazy plays, making older Bujin cards a lot better now than they used to be. But yeah, this deck plays 22 monsters, 11 spells, and 7 traps. So yeah, let's get into the deck. So to start it off, you have your 3 Yamato, your basic, your searcher. He is not per se the best monster anymore, because I think that Harume makes this deck way better than it used to be. But he is your recruiter, your searcher, your Stratos, essentially. He's really, really good. Next, I had played 2 Mikazuchi still. He's your backup for any of your Beast Warriors, so he's really, really good. And plus, if you discard like a Crane or something during damage calc, you get yourself a Bujin Carnation to hand. So he's really, really good. Next up, I play 3 copies of Harume. She is the best card in this deck, hands down. She's an Aqua Spirit of Bujin. She just comes out by banishing a Bujin monster, which creates more synergy in your deck with Arasuda. So she comes out really quick, and then you can literally make the new Exceed for pretty much nothing. It's really, really good. Plus, her secondary effect isn't bad. If she's destroyed either by card effect or by battle, you can discard 1 card from your hand and make your opponent discard a card from their hand. So make your opponent minus while you're loading your grave. It's really good. I played 2 copies of Arasuda. Arasuda was a card that wasn't really needed to be ran before. Now it's necessary, I feel, because he has so much synergy in this deck now. This deck flies with him in it. Just being able to get that extra monster on the field is so key into making your huge pushes. That does it for the Beast Warrior, Bujin Beast Warrior lineup. On to the relics. We play 2 of the Turtle. Turtle is great. He's your targeting, prevents Fiendish Chain from killing you, deprison, stuff like that, Veiler, whatever you want, making sure your plays go through. Play 2 copies of Hair, your destruction from battle and card effect. He's really good. Plus, with the addition of being able to bring out Kagatsuchi so easily now, along with Susanoo, you have that extra backup, and that is always really helpful for what your Kagatsuchi cannot prevent. The new guy, 2 copies of Sinew. Sinew is quite possibly the funniest card to be able to drop on your opponent, because they know it's there, they just inevitably have to run into it. It is another Honest in the deck, as if this deck needed another one. I figured why not play 2, because if this deck can abuse something like this, then why not, until the pan list goes and hits something out of their deck. 1 Quillen. Quillen's cool still at 1. Just getting rid of face-up cards. Game 1 is pretty cool. Game 2 I don't even bother keeping this in, because somebody's going to try to side an Iron Wall against me or something. I bumped it down to 2 because Crane isn't really needed at 3 anymore now. We just got Sinew. I'm not going to be that guy that runs 7 Honest, because I feel as though that just gets way too cloggy. I'd prefer to have my Beast Warriors in hand and make my pushes from there. And then for the last one Peacock. Sometimes you get those dead hands. I mean, it happens in decks, but this card comes in handy. You get this in hand, you set up a back row, you main phase 2, you pitch it, and then you go ahead and search out your Yamato, which is usually what you'll do. Or you can search out a Harume, banish this, and special summon Harume, or normal summon Yamato, and then get your Harume to hand with Yamato, and just set up your next turn play, making sure Yamato lives, and then next turn you go off. So that does it for the relics. And then 1 Bear, because I really like Bear still. Bear's a really good card. It gets rid of your problems. It's the Girgia Arbor killer. It's the Spy killer. It gets around Light Imprisoning Mirror. He's really, really good still. I really like him as a 1-of. And then, of course, for Honest, because Ghost for Honest makes you better. It floats to the top of the deck. You see it more. So that was the monster lineup. On to the spells. We play 3 MST. Pretty standard in this format. Back row is always a problem. You want to get rid of it, and this card does it. 3 copies of Tenki. Tenki is obviously essential in any deck that plays Beast Warriors, and it sets up your plays and, you know, helps the deck fly. We run 2 Forbidden Lance because Lance is still really good. Sometimes you don't have relics in grave. I mean, this card saves you. It saves your bear from making his direct attack go through. You know, it's a good card. And plus, you don't have to waste resources like Crane or Sinew when you have this card set and your opponent tries to just attack into you, expecting you to waste your Crane, and you just lance them and they die. It's a really good card. I don't know how many times I've used it for that matter. And then I played 2 Bujin Carnation. A lot of people run 3. I like 2. It's a great power card. I love it at where it's at right now because I see it a lot now. And I'm able to get bigger, crazier plays going off. And then I'm able to start my big push to win. But it's an amazing, amazing card. It's broken. And then 1 Soul Charge because, well, if you're not running Soul Charge this format, I don't know what you're thinking, because this card is changing the game. You know, this card is just making this, like, every deck more consistent and able to win a lot faster. So this card is amazing. On to the traps. I play 1 Bottomless, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Compulsory, 1 Deep Prison. I had it at 2. I kicked it down 1 because I really wanted to play a 3rd Harume, because having that monster presence is really, really, really good. 1 Warning, and 2 Fiendish Chain because, well, let's face it, effects suck and you don't want to deal with them. So yeah, that does it for the main deck. On to the extra deck. We play 2 copies of Susanoo. Susanoo is the best Exceed in this deck. It just kills decks that try to keep multiple monsters on board. It just runs them all over, and then they can't really do anything about it. Especially decks that make tokens, they just keep running their tokens over and they can't do anything about it. This card murders Draco's Sack. So it's definitely, you know, the most feared monster, I would have to say. I play 1 copy of Kagatsuchi. This is probably going to be bumped to 2 because this card comes out so much more now, and it's a great play because players have to waste so many resources just to get rid of him. I'm going to probably bump him up to 2. He's worth playing at 2 now. And then the new one, Amaterasu. She is so good. She only requires 3 level 4 monsters, so it doesn't require Bujin monsters. So this is a good generic. So basically, her effect states that this card can activate this effect on either player's turn, but it applies the following effect depending on which turn. On your turn, you detach and you return a level 4 monster from your banished zone to the field. If it's on your opponent's turn, you detach, return a level 4 banished, and put it in your hand. So it's really good on your turn. And if you can get your play rolling and you have a Harume in hand and make this, you detach, return, let's say an Arasuda, you banish something out of your grave that you detached, special summon Harume, make Susanoo or Kagatsuchi, depending on what you make, or depending on what you put out, and you just push for so much against your opponent. It's a really, really good card. I finally got to see the true power of that card this past weekend when I've been playing it against people at the pre-release and stuff like that. 1 Cowboy per game. 1 Dweller. Dweller's actually MVP for me, I think, because this deck can fail sometimes, these Grave Effect decks, especially in the mirror match. This card right here just says no. It's so good. I play 1 Tiger King because Tiger King is really good. It's, you know, another Beast Warrior Exceed, and it negates effects, and you get a tanky off of it. It's really good. 1 Omega for spell trap protection if you need to. It's a Beast Warrior, so you can, you know, go into it off of off of Carnation, so it's really good. One crazy box. This is a skill drain card. You know, you get skill drain, you make this guy, you're punishing your opponent for doing that to you. One Diamond Dire Wolf. Diamond Dire Wolf is great. It's, you know, it works well in this deck. It has the synergy of sacking your own monsters, but usually you just sack him, 1-for-1 him. Pal Dynamo. I don't really make it, but I might probably end up just dropping this for the second Kagatsuchi. Chances are. One Black Ship of Corn. I think this is a great card. I think this is a problem remover. It gets rid of your Zenmaines, gets rid of your Maestro, everything like that. It just sends cards. It doesn't destroy, so it's really, really good. That's why I like it still. One Ragnazero. Ragnazero is cool. I really like this card. It's a new card. The effect is on either player's turn, if there's a monster on your opponent's side of the field that has more attack than its original attack, it's like an overworked, essentially. You detach, destroy the card, draw a card. It's a good card. It works. It'll kill Fire Fist. One Exciton, obviously. And, of course, 101. He's a great power card in this format. He just steals games away. So that's the extra deck. My sideboard is officially all set. I really like the side, especially for Primal Origin era now, because this is when my Dolce are going to be really, really big, and Sylvans and stuff like that. So I built my side based around that. So I start out with 2 Max C, because I think Max C is a great card, especially against your Dragon players. You make them pay. Any of your OTK-based decks, you make them pay for wanting to special summon a whole bunch. And usually you hold a response in your hand or in the grave or something in your back row, so it's not a big deal when they try to make their push. This card either puts them to a stop or you just draw a bunch off them and make them pay. 2 DD Crow, because I really like DD Crow still. It's a good problem remover. You know, you're going to run into Dark World players, you're going to run into Fire King players. You got to make sure that they don't get Grapha or Garunix out. This card stops them. It's a real good card. Play 2 Gozen Match. I think Gozen Match is going to be amazing against Sylvans, because Sylvans, they play all the different types. Same with Dragons. This card will be really, really good against them. They won't be able to make their... They'll have to slow it down against me, in which case they will lose. 2 Rivalry of the Warlords. I really like this card, especially against your Constellar players and against your Madolche player. This card will be really, really good against Madolche. They summon Mew Fuel, and then they say they special summon Messengelato. You flip Rivalry, they're kind of going to go minus after that. So it's a really, really good card. I play 2 Black Horn of Heaven because I think Black Horn of Heaven is probably one of the best sideboard cards right now. It's probably the second best sideboard card right now. This card just, you know, stops the big Exceed push that your opponent will make, especially Tiramisu. I don't want Tiramisu hitting the field. This card will make sure it does not. Play 2 copies of Debunk. This is the best sideboard card in the game right now. This card is so, so good. It kills water, Bujin, Fire King, everything you can think of. It's really, really good. I like that it kills hand effects, it kills grave effects, so, you know, this card has saved my ass so many times now. And then, I played 2 Decree. I don't like Decree variants of this deck by any means, but I do like this at the 2 right now, because you're going to see Chainburn still, you're going to see decks that play Light Imprisoning, and honestly, yes, Light Imprisoning may not hurt you per se, because you still have your hand effects, but I'd prefer them not to be able to even have that luxury against me. So I think that this is a good card to play it at 2. I mean, it depends on your matchup, really. Sometimes I don't even want to side these in, but if I have to, I will. And then 1 Dark Hole, because I don't want to main Dark Hole the way this deck plays now, but it's a good power card to put in the side. So yeah, that's the deck profile, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed. So this is the deck I'll be probably playing for quite a while now. I love this deck. But yeah, thanks guys.